So here is the question by Daigan. Can a person entrust himself to Amida through the primal vow just by listening to it, even though this person has not previously entered through any door into the Buddha Dharma? That is, can somebody without any experience in Buddhism go directly to the primal vow? What do you guys think?
I think if Amida touches you and you find out about the Nimbutsu and you focus on Amida, you find out about his Pure Land, even though you have no experience in that. If you sincerely say his name and wish to be born in his Pure Land, that is the primal vow. I would think.
Yes. Yes. You know, many come to the primal vow of Amida after spending some time with various practices, various self-powered practices in other schools. But I personally met people who came directly to Amida Buddha. I have some here in the Romanian Sangha. So also it seems they do not have any connection with Buddhism in this life. They certainly have a strong karmic connections with Buddhism from past lives. So nobody entrusts to Amida Buddha without good from the past, you know, as Renyo said. So according to Renyo Shonin, there must be 5 conditions to be born in the Pure Land. One is karmic good from the past. Second is a good spiritual teacher. Third, Amida's light. 4, faith or Shinjin. And 5, saying of Amida's name. So the good from the past is our good karma from past life or even this life prior to the moment of faith. So past life and what we did in past life and what we did prior to the moment of faith can be our good karma from the past. And this manifests in an open mind or receptive state of mind towards the message of the primal vow. See? So it can happen. So yes, a person who didn't practice any type of Buddhism during his present life, when can be open enough, karmically matured enough, and accept the primal vow at first hearing. See, it's possible.
I wanted to add on something. I remember when I used to be a self-power practice Buddhist. I remember when I used to be a Theravadan Buddhist, and I remember one day I stumbled across Joshin's videos, and I remember watching one of the first videos. He said the first video I watched was Shinjin means I'm only saved by Amitabha Buddha, or Amida Buddha, Amitabha. But basically in that video he explained how he's only saved by Amitabha, and I remember watching it, and I just felt like as soon as he said like Amitabha, I felt like this connection, even though I had no idea who Amitabha was, because back then I didn't know that many Buddhas. Even though in Theravada there is a lot of people that slander the Mahayana Sutras, thankfully the Theravada temple that I went to, they did not slander any school. Even though they just said the Mahayana Sutras are unauthentic, but I still view that as a disrespectful claim. And I was watching Joshin's videos, and I remember how he's talking about Amitabha, and that just touched me. And I was like, this guy is so sincere. I was like, there's no way he could be lying. And I just thought about it for 1 second. I was like, I was walking to the one incense shop, and that's when I started reciting Amitabha's name. And I wasn't even thinking about reciting his name. It just came out of me. And then I was like, I was gonna contact you, Sensei, because usually Joshin always provides you on underneath his videos. And then I contacted you, and I got to meet you, and I got to meet the wonderful Sangha. So Joshin, thank you for your videos. They very helped me. I'm so grateful for you. and you
I'm
too,
grateful
Sensei.
for you too, brother. This shows you had a connection with from the past. This is good karma from the past. I'd like to add on that note, it wasn't me or anything I said that helped you. That is Amida working through those who serve Amida. And that happened to me prior when I was a Zen Buddhist, and I knew nothing about any of this stuff. I didn't know anything about Pure Land. And it was through Tricycle magazine. One of the editors just came out and in a very childlike manner posted a little tiny article on the side that I think most readers would have missed that said, yeah, I'm now a Pure Land Buddhist. I'm going to the Pure Land. I pray to Amitabha Buddha. I was like, what is Pure Land Buddhism? And I would go to the Asian market and they would have Buddha statues. And the one that kept jumping out at me is the statue like that, the Amitabha statue with the red dot. And this kept on until one day I found that Chinese self-power Buddhist pamphlet teaching me how about the larger sutra and the smaller sutra and how to say Amida's name. You know, I am so grateful to be able to share that message, because once I received Shinjin, I knew I had found everything I was looking for in my spiritual path. So all praise goes to Amitabha Buddha. Namo Amida Buddha.
Namo Amida Buddha. You know, Hozan, in your case, you had a good karma from the past, as Renio said, and Joshin was like the teacher in the 5 conditions, in the sense that what is a teacher? A teacher is a person who points to Amida Buddha. That is all that a teacher does. A teacher doesn't give salvation. Even the words that a teacher say and who are in agreement with Amida Buddha's intention, those words are influenced by Amida Buddha. So the teacher can't assume any, even his words. He can't praise himself for his own words. So because of good karma from the past, you were in an open state of mind, and Amida used the words of Joshin, to make you entrust to him. So Joshin, or whatever else, whatever other text you saw online about Amida, acted as teachers for you. That was what happened. See, the
teacher was that obscure editor who just made a side comment in a small little article. I have not been able to, I never saw him again post anything. I never have been able to find that original article, but that was the spark. That was the thing that got me curious about this. And then I saw Paul Roberts, and then I got and on until finally here I am.
Teachers can be 1 or 2 or 3. So the first teacher was that person with the small article. Then it was Paul Robert, you know, so on. So people who guide us or a text, you know, can act as a teacher. But it's good to have a teacher in human form that you can ask questions. That is very important. And especially Renio made reference especially to that kind of teacher, somebody with whom you can discuss your doubts and your misunderstanding. That is very important in waking you to Shinjin, to Amida's light. See? Yes.
I also wanted to say, like, it's so like wonderful Amitabha's power, because I remember when I used to be in all these other religions, like my family never used to be interested. My family, my whole entire family was never interested in it. As soon as I became a Pure Land Buddhist or Jodo Shinshu and I started following Amitabha specifically, they just suddenly became like more open. And I noticed like when I used to be in other religions, sorry, I just woke up like 2 hours ago. Yes. So they would be so open. And I remember when they never even asked me about religions before. And all of a sudden they became more open to Amitabha. At first they were really hostile. They didn't want to even know anything. And suddenly they just started asking me like questions, and they just ask me regularly. And I just say Namo Amida Butsu. That's just the power of Amitabha. That's not me. Because I remember they never used to be open, and all of a sudden they just become open. It's so great. Amitabha's
Yes.
power.
You being a person of faith and being an example of faith, you act as a teacher for your parents, because your parents, if they have any question, they will ask you. They will not ask me or Joshin or others. They will ask you. So if their karma from the past will be ripened enough and they become open, you are the one who will help them, and you will show them Amida Buddha. You will answer their questions and help them to receive faith from Amida. So this is why even if you are not priests or official lay teachers, each one of you can act as a teacher and an example of faith for others in your family, in your circle of friends. So this is why you have to take your role very serious. You have to know that whatever you say to others matters. And you have to choose your words very carefully. And you have to be aware of the responsibility you have in saying something about Amida. And you have to ask Amida Buddha always for help. Amida Buddha, please help me to answer the questions of my parents. Please guide me, please bless me, to help me, and or to answer to other people questions. And yes, you have to be aware of your responsibility, and you have to study the text yourself so that you know what to say. Yes.
Yes, because I remember a long time ago when my parents used to slander, especially my mom, she would all the time be like extremely upset. And as the years went on by, she recently even bought me an Amitabha statue. And now I never saw that coming. That literally came out of nowhere. Even though
Your mother
yes.
bought you an Amida statue now.
No, not now, but before. She bought me like recently. I don't have it with me because I have it put up in somewhere because I want to keep it safe. So unless my old statues get old and I want to replace them. But it was like a glittery one. It was so beautiful. And I never saw that coming. She bought it out of like Missouri, and I never saw that coming. And it was so wonderful because she was the one really, really hostile towards Amitabha Buddha, and she just became open, and she bought it out of nowhere. And I was so like shocked. And I remember the first thing I said was Namo Amida Bu, because I was just so like shocked because I never saw that coming. And that's just the power of Amitabha. I remember like everyone in my family, I never even had like this diamond like faith before, or Shinjin, because I remember when I used to be in other faiths, I would always shift back to Islam or go back to other religions, and I would go back and forth. But as soon as I came to Amitabha, it's just like, I can't explain it, but it's just like I have two different personalities. That's the best way I could explain in short, like example. It's so wonderful.
That's the exact same thing I used, two different personalities when I received Shinjin, and I would talk to Paul Roberts. I'm like, this is weird. You've got the old Dave, and then you've got this person who knows Amitabha is real, who knows that the Pure Land is real. And I've had so many similar experiences with people I've had conflict with, people at work, customers and whatnot, that I really had all this venom and anger and rage and unforgiveness toward. And I would just get to a point where, and I will continue to do this when this happens, I will give it to Amitabha Buddha and say, okay, I entrust this to you, Namo Amida Bu. And I let it go as best I can. and somehow it gets resolved. And I see that as the power of Amida Buddha. And that's why I'm very careful. I don't take credit for anything that leads people to Amida Buddha. I enjoy making my videos, but my videos are about praising and showing gratitude to Amida Buddha out of gratitude for what he's done for me, because I don't have any merits. I really don't.
Yes, even if you don't assume any merits, and of course the merits belong to Amida, this is a reality. It is not we playing humble. We don't need to play humble. This is the reality. Everything comes from Amida. But each one of us, because we are persons, anybody who is a person of faith is actually used by Amida to influence others. So see, so Amida is using you, Hozan, and you, Shoshin, and you, Daigan, and Jishin, and Joshin. Everybody uses you to influence others. See, because Amida is constantly working upon all beings. He's constantly having each and every samsaric being in front of his eyes. And he's constantly in front of that person and tries his best to make him come to him. You know, he is like a magnet attracting all beings to him. He's constantly trying to save everybody. Some people can't be saved because they are not open, but you can help them become open because they will see your example of faith. And Hozan, the fact that your mother, even if she is does not entrust to Amida yet, the fact that she made you a present of Amida image, of Amida statue, that is a very good karma for her. Even if she doesn't trust Amida yet and will not trust Amida in this life, certainly she will not go to the lower realms, because of this simple gesture of offering you an image of the Buddha. That is an immense karmic benefit for her. And this will contribute to make her become more open. See? Yes. So a single gesture of devotion or respect towards the Buddha will make one never go to the lower realms again. This is how powerful it is. Yes.
It's so wonderful because when I used to have all this, it's like the faith, like it never goes away from you. I remember how I could mess up everything so quickly, but you can't mess up Shinjin. You can't, because that's not from you. One of the first Dharma talks I gave to both my parents was faith never came from me, because I cannot make myself believe in Amitabha. Because I remember when I used to meet all these religions, they would ask for blind faith. They wouldn't ask you to, they would just ask you to believe, but it's not like with Amitabha. Amitabha, he gives you the faith. You don't just believe in him. It's almost like he reveals himself. You have this relationship with him, and it's so wonderful. I never had this before, and I just say Namo Amida Butsu. I have an Amitabha statue here. I have one right here.
Ah, beautiful.
Thank you. Yes, I always
pictures in the back. You have big scrolls with Amida, as I see.
do.
Very beautiful.
I have a lot. Thank you. I have a lot of pictures around Amida in my room, outside my room, because I make sure everyone sees it. But mostly when my parents come in, the first thing they always look at is always my Amida pictures. They'll just stand there. I even caught my mom a couple of times, like sneakily looking at a picture of Amitabha Buddha. It's so wonderful. Namo Amida.
Yes, it's important to know that seeing an image of Amida Buddha is like being introduced to Amida Buddha. Even if you don't have faith, even if you are enraged towards Amida, even if you have bad thoughts towards Amida, you still make a connection. Even if you go to the lower realms for some time because you have bad feelings or you insult Amida Buddha, the fact that you saw his image That's a very powerful karmic connection. And sooner or later, you will trust Amida because you were introduced to Amida. So people have beings, humans and non-humans, must be introduced to Amida, even if they don't entrust to Amida. This is why it's important that we are examples of faith, because non-human beings who wander around the place will feel our devotion, will see our understand, will automatically understand what we know. See, they will feel our devotion, and they will think, perhaps there is something here, you know. So
I want to
that's important.
touch on something else Jose said, and this applies to me, and I've talked about it a number of times in my video. The reason I know that Shinjin is real and from Amida Buddha and not from me is that I used to jump around from one thing to the other whenever I practiced whatever faith I had. I have never done that since receiving Shinjin. This is, for me, good enough proof that this does not come from me. Because I would have gone long ago, many times over, gone into so many different directions, gone back to Christianity, New Age, astrology, whatever. But once I received that one moment of faith, that has never changed. I've never thought of going back. I've checked out other religions. I've checked out other belief systems, but it was never with the intention of joining them. I knew I was locked into Amida, and that never will change.
Yes.
It's so wonderful what you said, Joshin. It's just like there's an old saying that Shinjin cuts through all the stuff that's around you, all the BS, because Shinjin is like a diamond. It's just so sharp, it cuts through everything. There's no way you could lose it because it's from Amitabha. It's so wonderful.
I think this is my best life ever because I met Amida. I finally entrusted myself to Amida after so many kalpas in which Amida tried his best to make me come to him. Yes, Amida Buddha has so much patience. It is the patience of an enlightened person. Enlightened beings have infinite patience, and they will infinitely stay. An infinite time will stay with you until you finally walk the path to liberation.